this afternoon at HLC Field, right next to the beautiful Healthy Living Center at Brandon University. We have exhibition soccer action for you. Tyler Crayston alongside JC Castle for the broadcast. We got the host Bobcats entertaining the Providence Pilots today. JC, you had a storied career here. If you were on this roster now and knowing and seeing everything that's gone on with COVID and the season getting canceled and everything like that, you probably would have said I was crazy. What are your thoughts?
I think the teams have to look at it throughout all the conferences. Just use it as a building year. I know especially for our Bobcats team, it's a bunch of rookies, so let's use it to our advantage to get together and come together as a team and get used to each other, and then you'll be set for next year. When
the wind is picking up like it is, I think right now it's 34 clicks and coming out of the west right now, and I believe it's like -1 right now. As far as preparation goes, when you know that the temperature is going to be a little bit down, how key is that warm up and making sure you're ready to go when the temperature has dipped down like it has?
I think your warm-up would set the tone for their game. If you're not putting in the effort in the warm-up, you're not getting your muscles ready for the cold and for the amount of running that you'll do against the wind or with the wind. I think that will determine how your game plays out.
Well, we had a game here earlier this week, and the wind was absolutely howling. So it's not too bad here right now, but yeah, earlier in the week when we had another friendly matchup, it was certainly pretty chilly out here, but I think we're pretty well prepared, JC. You've got your Java there.
Yep.
We've got our gloves on. We've got our toques on. I got wool socks on, and we've even got, I don't know if you can get it on camera here or not, but you should see how, prepared we are here on the broadcast. These rosters, they are super glued onto these clipboards, so there will be no papers flying anywhere. That's how well prepared we are for the broadcast. I've never done soccer before, JC, as far as play-by-play goes. That's why I'm happy that you're here right now and everything like that. But what would you say? We had you on for the broadcast for the futsal Final Four. So soccer, what would you say is the biggest challenge that a soccer player has? In preparing for the game, but making sure you're trying to make the biggest impact that you can out there as well.
Just always being ready. It's really easy during the game and even watching the game to just become complacent and just kind of switch that light off, and then you always have to be on. You always have to be ready for the next play, for the next kick, be 2 steps ahead. Always being ready. Well,
we have Jason Rowley, the head official today, 20-some years of officiating experience under his belt. He's got the shorts on out there. I thought about wearing shorts there for a little bit. You know what? I was wearing them up until this week. Whenever I put shorts on heading into the summer, I always say I'm never putting a full set of pants on. I'm going to wear shorts until the snow flies, but I guess I'm not as farm tough as I used to be.
I knew as soon as you texted me dress warm that it was cold out.
Yeah, well,
I thought you'd be wearing shorts for sure.
Well, I was hoping, of course, we're doing the broadcast with our longtime partners, WCG-TV, and I can remember when they used to do the high school football games out here and all. And at one time, they actually did them right on top of the truck out here. But I'm thankful that we're down here a little bit lower, because just that wind, you can tell it's picking up. Actually, when I talked to the Providence coaching staff just to get the proper pronunciations of everybody's name, said to the coach, I said, you know what, the wind's not too bad. Lo and behold, I come outside, and what do you think? It's howling. Oh yeah, it was something else. But I'm hoping that with us doing the broadcast, hey, we were not allowed spectators due to the COVID and the pandemic and all. If you're watching at home on YouTube or on WCG-TV Channel 12, you can have a nice cup of coffee. You can have a hot chocolate. You can order some
pizza. Under your blankets.
Oh yeah. Yeah, so we really hope you're going to enjoy the broadcast, and it's fun to get the chance to come back out here and actually try to get my gift of gab going again. Hopefully, I don't freeze and lock up over the course of the game and all. But no, I'm really looking forward to the games. We're doing it. I guess it's all kind of in conjunction with what would have been a homecoming weekend for us here at Brandon University. And of course, in conjunction with that is our sports wall of fame. So obviously we couldn't have that event take place. So it's, you know what, this is a good opportunity to kind of get the energy up, get focused, and get excited about these soccer games here this week. I know that a lot of the players, JC, have said, you know, this is really it's been a downer. It's unfortunate, but you know, it's everybody. Yeah, across the entire globe that's dealing with different situations and different circumstances surrounding the adversity that we're all facing here right now in society. So for the Bobcats, we got Emily Skramstad, one of the few veterans left on this Bobcat team, JC. It's I'm going to have a tough time. I'm starting to know the players a little bit more and more here as we go along, but certainly, you know, we're missing the Jade Burrows of the world, the JC Castles. It's kind of a new era with Coach Jesse Rozier leading this Bobcat team.
Yeah, it's definitely a bunch of new faces. Emily is returning goalie. Chelsea McKay is the sole senior on the team. So she trained with us and she grew up playing with us, so she'll definitely do well for this team, being that leadership.
Yep, and we're underway here at HLC Field, and the first few touches are going to be going to the Bobcats here. I've been listening to a lot of World Cup soccer highlights on YouTube to try to get the lingo going and all. And some of the announcers I listen to, they talk very fast, they're very energetic, and I'm going to try to keep warm here and bring you the best possible broadcast that I can here on WCG-TV. And you could also be watching, of course, on the Bobcats YouTube channel as well. It's the Providence Pilots and Brandon University Bobcats playing exhibition action here with the Manitoba Colleges Athletic Conference season canceled due to the COVID-19 pandemic.
Kylie Van Westeen getting in there early, getting a few balls.
Yeah, Kylie Van de Westeen from Weyburn, Saskatchewan, has looked really impressive in the few games that the Bobcats have played. She had a couple of goals against ACC. Then we played up at the Sportsplex a couple of weeks ago. She also scored, I believe, the game, the only lone goal that the Bobcats got in that game was off the foot of Kylie Van de Westeen. So a player that's come in here, and there's already a lot of positive thoughts and expectations for her as that one's kicked out of play by Temple of the Providence Pilots. Yeah, Jessica Wachuk, number 12 for the Providence Pilots, was a conference all-star last season. There, you see it down there in the corner, number 14 for the Pilots. Another kick out of bounds, and we're back to it here. So that ball's knocked into play. Bobcats control it, only for a moment though. So now the Pilots with it. Tangled up is Chloe Rozier, one of the newcomers for this Bobcat women's soccer team. Picked up by the Pilots as they'll try to control it, and with that, they're going against the wind here, are the Pilots in this opening half. So Bobcats will be looking to take advantage here with them playing into the wind here, and any high kicks could head, that ball could be heading right across 18th and Vic here if we're not careful. It's at midfield right now. It's stopped by the Bobcats.
And this is where the Bobcats will want to try and get those goals in and get ahead of the Providence Pilots so that they can use that wind, because come halftime, it's going to switch, and don't know what's going to happen with that ball. Yeah,
well, I think the wind's supposed to pick up, I think, a little bit throughout the course of the day. It's already up to 34. Racing for it was Kaylee Thompson. That's number 2 for the Bobcats. Providence picks it up and tries to kick it back the other way as they head up the field in transition. A nice deke there by the Pilots as they move into the Bobcat zone for the first time in this contest.
Sophia Beltram for the Providence Pilots taking a run, taken down in the box.
That was Lauren Craig, another one of the very few veterans that the Bobcats have remaining on this team. Number 8, Lauren Craig, she's supposed to be joining us after this contest is all said and done as well for an interview, and I can tell you if she gets talking, we might she might still be talking and the men's game might be on.
I know, we'll freeze.
Turnover there. There's a kick at Scramstad. Oh, she got a piece of it and just enough of it in time. Craig hustles over to stop another opportunity for the Pilots.
Really good hustle by Lauren there. Providence had 2 running in on it, and Emily was still on the ground, so it was good for Lauren to react and help her goalie out there.
Yeah, Scramstad had to slide over there to make that save. Yeah, we don't have the Benny ball kids anymore here. So everybody's responsible for picking up the ball.
You have to get your
now.
own ball.
I tell you, sometimes when it goes up, the other way, that fence is a long, long way. And with that wind, I can tell you, we should have had a bet how many times we think that ball will end up touching that fence down there with that wind. We got a quarter kick coming up for the Pilots. It's Waychuk sending it up, trying to find a header on it, finds a leg instead. Bouncing around, and can the Bobcats clear? They will for the moment, but there's Waychuk again, hustling back to control it still here for the visiting Providence Pilots. There's a little trip up there, but play continues. Now it's into the foot of the Bobcats. They're now controlled still by the Pilots. Back and forth we go, trying to bust through and find a lane to kick through, cannot, and back the other way come the Bobcats. That one is rolling down, and Molly Major, the goalkeeper for the Pilots, hits it on up. And the ball is right beside my feet now. Hey, look at this. I'm even getting a few touches in here.
Look at you go. Really good hustle by Sierra, number 18, on the Bobcats to chase that ball down and force Molly to clear that ball from Providence.
That was Hertberger that was right in front of us. Legs are up, and it's going to go back in favor of the Bobcats here. You can see everybody's got, does everybody, I'm looking at all the different headbands out there who's trying to keep those ears. There's a few brave souls, though, that aren't wearing one. Back the other way it goes. It was Hertberger, that's number 14. Bobcats had a chance at it. There's a kick at it by Van de Westine from Weyburn. Rozier hustling over. Back the other way come the Pilots in transition, trying to get some offense. Stays at midfield. Van de Westine picks it up, and she loves racing down that side. Tries to kick it up, but instead it finds Molly Major, who hustles out to grab the loose ball. Kicks it into the wind, and a pretty good kick. Found an open teammate down the field. That was Sophia Beltram, number 3 for the Providence Pilots. Ball went out of play. Still in possession of the Providence Pilots. You're watching exhibition soccer action on WCGTV at Channel 12. And you might be watching also on the Bobcats YouTube channel. Our first opportunity to call live sports here on WCGTV. Unfortunately, we won't have any Canada West basketball or volleyball to call either. Decision came down earlier this week that U Sports, Canada West canceling the winter sports season. And Brooke Bradshaw, I believe that's number 12, way down there. So Bradshaw trying to find Rozier. Instead, it's into the wrong feet. It's the Pilots. They try to break in and fire one on net. Intercepted by the Cats. There's a turnover by BU. Pilots trying to make them pay for it. Paige Heidi had it into her feet, but only momentarily. Rozier taps it up, and away come the Bobcats. Madison Kynock, number 5, back over to Rozier. Now with Van de Westine one more time, trying to dipsy-doodle through midfield, kick down and a race for it, but there once again is Molly Major, M-squared, picking it up and kicking it away for the Pilots, and it's back at midfield one more time.
One downside to having the wind with you, and we can see that with the Bobcats, is the balls just go a touch too far for those run-ons, like for the through balls.
Right. That
the players up ahead, like the forwards and the outside midfields, they're not able to run on it. Molly's beating them every single time.
We're not calling the men's game, but just coming out here, getting some video and some photos of the men's game. earlier this week that they had, and that was just the case. I mean, when the Bobcats had the wind going with them, there were plenty of times, like I bet you could count, you probably didn't have enough fingers to count them all, but there was a lot of time those Bobcat passes, that wind was almost playing against them a little bit.
And every team's guilty of doing it. You get excited because you think that you have the wind and that you're going to get the goals and everything, and you just get ahead of yourself.
Well, a battle between the Bobcats and the Pilots there is Paige Heidi, number 19, racing over for it and throwing it back into play will be Julia Herpberger of the Pilots. She'll look for an open teammate and found one. Back to Herpberger, kept it in play. And here goes BU. No, spoke too soon. That's off a Brandon player, and out of play it goes. So it's another throw in here for the Pilots. It's Julia Herpberger one more time. Herpberger, the big throw into the wind between the Bobcats, and it was Chelsea McKay, I think, that
really
kicked it
good
down
clearance
the
by
field.
Chelsea.
Yeah, really good player that's slowly but surely really kind of become a real veteran presence on this Bobcat team for sure. Great article that Thomas Friesen wrote about her in the Brandon Sun at the start of the soccer season. And
really good article.
Yeah. Trying to find the edge are the Pilots right now. There was Lauren Craig kicking it out of harm's way and into the hands, the waiting arms of Scott Haddo down there. Yeah, we needed to put a couple glass shields up around us here, JC, because we're just getting started, and I can feel it already. I need
you need an extra layer.
Maybe somebody listening out there could come and give T. Cray a coffee or something like that.
Should have brought you one. That was my mistake.
Official Rowley pointing towards the Bobcats net here. So it's Pilots ball. The good hard throw in there. McKay kicks it away. And up come the Bobcats. Van de Westing trying to bust through one more time. She's got blazing speed. And like I said, I can see a lot of star potential. That's what a lot of people have kind of said about Van de Westing.
Yeah. Gives me Hosanna Church vibes.
Yeah.
Aziza Kinnerat, Kira, very similar play.
Madison Kynock walking the tightrope there. Good chance for the Bobcats, but no problem for Major. Makes the scoop save and still
Kynock
at zeros on the scoreboard. Kynock one more time with the header. It's with McKay now. McKay kicks it into the Providence Pilots standing area. Everybody caved in 6 feet apart with social distancing and all. So it's in the Providence zone. Now it's with Herpberger.
Too far with the wind.
Yeah, Paige Heidi needed to get a little bit higher up to keep that one in play. Yeah, that wind is, you can tell that it's kind of wreaking a little bit of havoc out here. Well, that's even what a lot of the players were saying, how cold it was going to be out here. And that's Kaylee Thompson, number 2, racing, and Major's there to keep that with the Pilots, and she's going to give it another mighty kick downfield. Chloe Rozier is there for the Bobcats coming through with it. Anna Green, though, of the Providence Pilots. It's still with Green now, getting pressured by Rozier as they race down the sidelines. Rozier had it, and Jason Rowley calling a stoppage in play. I think we're going to get a substitution here on the Brandon side, it looks like. We should have had, I didn't realize we had the time clock there.
12:42.
Okay, well, that's great.
So
and just one correction we should make too here on the scoreboard here. It's not ACC. It should be Providence on there. So that's just one little minor detail there, that it's the Bobcats and Providence faced ACC a few times and
tied and then, or lost, sorry,
yeah,
and then
lost,
tied one.
Yeah, tied up at the Sportsplex, and then
really good shot by Catherine Tierney from Providence from outside the box, but Skramstad was able to control it.
Yeah, Skramstad kicks that one. A mighty good kick by Skramstad. Racing for it right now, Kaylee Thompson. And is stolen away by Julia Hertberger. Back to Hertberger one more time. Little give and go here. And kicking it over to Molly Major, the netminder for the Providence Pilots. Over to Lindsay Duick. Vanda Westeen had it just for the moment though, and it's kicked out of bounds by Providence. Bobcats will still control it here as we're 14 minutes into this opening half. Thanks a lot for tuning in wherever you happen to be watching, on the Bobcats YouTube channel or on WCG TV channel 12. We're actually going to be doing the games next weekend as well. JC, maybe if you're willing to make the trip in from Portage again, that would be marvelous.
For sure.
So these teams are going to be seeing an awful lot of each other. Men's soccer team, they'll actually be heading out to Providence actually next Saturday and then playing them here on Sunday.
So they're not following the same schedule?
Yeah, there's been, I'm not too sure. I wish I would have asked the Providence coaching staff what they've done for games and all, but for Brandon, they've played
Rogier trying to send Makasoff, but Molly Major was ready.
You know, the BU women's team, they've played the U15 team. Just trying to get those games in, trying to make sure that there's still something to play for. But I'm sure when you get out there, JC, whether there's points on the line, whether you're playing for a championship or anything like that, once you kind of get those competitive juices flowing, I'm sure it's no big problem, right?
Any game that you can take is enough.
Vanda Westeen juggled it at midfield, has it again, trying to dish it off. She keeps it. Vanda Westeen with that lightning speed. She loves to race down that sideline. That's kind of the same area where she had a nice goal earlier this week. Field looks in not bad condition either.
No, you guys started preparing it early in the summer too.
Yeah, we got a pretty good sprinkler system in it and everything like that. This actually used to be where, of course, they used to play Bobcat football, you know, way back in the day and everything like that. And of course, it was home to Kinsman Stadium. Of course, we still got the classic baseball scoreboard still up there. That's a classic. That's old school. We're never taking that thing down. So Bobcats had it just for the moment, though. Providence will control it. Still looking for that all-important first goal. And we know that some of these games can be low scoring, so I need to really make sure that I get ready to call one whale of a goal call here. Yeah. I got a couple things in mind.
Substitutions for Bobcats.
Yeah, I'm not too sure.
Number.
Check that. Well, it's just
okay.
Just to kind of give everybody a bit of an idea, just because where the sun is, we're basically squinting into it right now. So it's hard for us just to see when they're at that end of the field anyway. It can just be tough for us to see exactly who's got the ball and what. There's Rozier again, like a little water bug.
Yeah.
Is Rozier.
She's everywhere. Haley Curtis checking in for the Bobcats.
Yeah, Haley, that's kind of an interesting story with her joining the team, because I think that it was initially just kind of a water cooler talk. Hey, do you want to come and play soccer? Because I don't think she's played a lot of competitive soccer, I don't believe.
I think she's just played kind of like the senior women's or rec leagues, but yeah, for competitive.
Pilots looked like that they were going to bust in there. It was Michaela Meyer, number 5 for the Pilots. You know, her dad is legendary golf striker Jason Curtis. I play with him in the Monday Men's Golf League, and I can tell you what, if she can kick a soccer ball like her dad can hit a golf ball, the Bobcats are going to have a really good player on their hands.
Those water cooler recruits turn out to be pretty good, though. Like, that was Chelsea McKay's story it was a water cooler. Hey, you play soccer. Why don't you come to a practice and see what it's like? Now look at her.
Yeah, it was a good header right there by Haley Curtis getting into the game here. Her sister plays actually over at ACC there as well. So we've had a couple of sister showdowns here. It was I didn't want to interrupt that play there, but there's Rozier. It was a really cute little story when they were done playing up at the Sportsplex, and there was the grandparents holding up the iPad wanting to get a picture of the two sisters together up at the Sportsplex. There's Rozier passing it up. It's at midfield. Two players getting tangled up there. Goes out of play, but stays in possession of the Bobcats as we reach just a hair or two over 19 minutes played here in this first half of action here. Halftime, we're going to keep you entertained there as well, because we got 3 alumni features to show you as well. And one of them actually is a tribute video to George Berger, our athletic director here from 78 to 1987, passed away October 10th at the age of 91, living out in Arizona for the last number of years, last 20 plus years or so. So we lost Big George, and we're going to pay tribute to him and have 2 other alumni spotlights at halftime. So don't turn the channel when we're at the halftime break. Should be about 15 minutes or so. Lauren Craig tried to find the teammate instead, went to the Pilots. That kick sails out of play, and Skramstad hustles over to pick it up for the Bobcats. Yeah, for the goalies, that's got to be, you really got to be,
you have to
what
constantly
do you
be
do?
moving, even if the ball's not in your end or there's no play going on. You can see Molly jumping up and down, trying to keep warm. Skramstad's been doing the same thing, some shuffles, trying to move in any way you can.
Curtis took a kick at it, went off a Pilot instead. It's controlled here by Meyer of the Pilots. Bobcats will control it, try to kick it out of harm's way. They cannot. They're kind of getting hemmed in there. There's a good kick, and ooh, what great distance. That was a long distance kick, and it's going to end up being a chance for Makasoff here for the Bobcats, racing in, but that's right into the breadbasket of Molly Major making the save. That was just kind of a kick that I think she was just kind of wanting to get it out of here.
It was more just a clearance and just get it out of here, and it ended up working in BU's favor. Yeah, couldn't capitalize, but
at it. There's Thompson. She kicks it off target, and Major will get some miles in here. I'm sure she's happy to be able to go over and run and pick up that ball right now.
Usually goalies are happy when players miss the net, but I think they're extra happy now because they get to move.
Well, last year at this time, it was that huge snowstorm that we had here, if you remember.
Yeah.
But apparently next weekend, I think we got to batten down the hatches for next weekend, because apparently there's an Alberta Clipper coming through. They said that there was supposed to be one this upcoming weekend that was coming through that I was kind of sweating bullets a little bit about, but
there were some snowflakes yesterday, I noticed, but glad it cleared up.
Tangled up there was Thompson and Paige Heidi of the Pilots.
Resulting in a BU throw-in.
So Thompson, power in her hands right now. A good hard throw in. Rozier tried to race over for it, could not, and at midfield, but Chelsea McKay was there to pick it up. McKay one more time makes a good stop. Here goes Van de Westeen again. Pass to a Bobcat teammate. It is collected, but Providence with good defense. There's Van de Westeen with a long kick, and it's off the mark. But you can tell she's
she's trying to generate those plays.
Well, just a really good athlete.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, don't have her sports bio in front of me, but you can tell that she's very athletic, good speed. And really she can make something happen almost out of nothing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
She's got that.
She's looking for any opportunity.
Well, the sun is starting to beat down here, and it's very welcome, I can tell you that. The sun is shining.
Warmed up a little bit.
Yeah. Well, I had to borrow the gloves that I'm wearing. I had to borrow them from my athletic director, Russ Paddock. I can't find my gloves.
I had to pull out all my winter gear for this.
Well, I'm glad you did.
Wasn't ready for it.
It's good to have you on the broadcast here. So there's a tap there by Temple, and it was with Hertberger.
Major calling her players off that ball. Rozier collecting the ball from Major.
Yeah, Rozier's got it. Over to Van de Westien. Van de Westien with a long kick. Major's there to put a foot on it and put a stop to that offensive surge for the Bobcats. No, the fake, and there's one more kick now, and it was with Van de Westien. Now it's with Rozier one more time, using her noggin there. Pilots get it back. That kick is going to be dangerously close to going out of bounds. No, but a really good hustle there by Paige Heidi, number 19 for the Pilots. And here come the Providence Pilots back the other way. Tangling up there is a defensive specialist for the Bobcats, Lauren Craig.
Really good pressure by Craig to force Michaela Meyer out. She wanted to get that cross kick, and Craig wasn't letting her.
And Jessica Waychuk, number 12, conference all-star last season in the Manitoba Colleges Athletic Conference. The way that those flags are going, it kind of looks like she might have the wind with her, helping her out a little bit. There was a header, goes off the wrong part of the head, I guess, and now back in control for the Bobcats. And we got a whistle on the play. And thrown in by the Pilots. Sophia Beltram was down there to collect. And it's still a Providence Pilots possession here. 25-minute mark or so in this opening half. Tyler Crayston and JC Castle along for the broadcast today. Thrown in by the Bobcats. Van de Westien's got it.
Looking for Rozier, but it was just a step ahead.
Intercepted by BU, and here come the Bobcats as they cross midfield. They can't get any further than that, and the Pilots start to pick up the momentum here a little bit. Dangerously close to a good offensive chance a couple moments ago, had it not been for Lauren Craig with a good defensive play. Racing back for it, I tell you, you need your conditioning.
Oh,
You know, like, I'm just kind of, when I see some of those players out there that have been out there since the opening moment of the game,
well,
you know, you need that. If you're not well conditioned, I'd be sucking wind already out there, you know.
I'm tired just watching them.
you.
I'm not how I used to be. But even in the cold, especially in the cold, you have to have your conditioning up to par.
Skramstad with the win. Oh, that's looked like the wind was almost against her there. Just kind of held up there.
Unfortunate call against BU. Rozier was looking for the ball and didn't see the body in front of her of Chloe Yon, resulting in a Providence free kick just over half.
Hertberger. Sorry, that wasn't her. That's 14. I'm getting my numbers mixed up there. That was Temple, number 4 for the Pilots. That one's knocked out of play by BU. The Pilots will control it one more time here. Lindsay Duick, number 2, with the neon sneakers on and all, or the neon cleats, I guess I should say. Little give and go between the Pilots there, but Rozier was there to break up that play. Big high kick downfield, stopped by the Pilots. Racing for it was Waychuk, number 12. A good header there by the Pilots to control it. Rozier racing for it, kicks it downfield. Back the other way come the Bobcats, and we got a whistle on the play one more time.
I think that was a push from behind on Rozier. So Chelsea McKay going to take this free kick.
McKay, the lone fifth year on the Bobcats. Taps it instead. And racing for it was Beltram to break up that play after the kick by McKay. No problem though, Bobcats still controlled. That one thrown in. Van de Westeen got a foot on it. Now it's the Pilots controlling things again. Rozier right in the mix there again. Tried to create a turnover, goes out of play, and the ball belongs to the visitors from Otterburn. Yeah, we were looking forward to the MCAC soccer season because we were supposed to host the championship weekend too. Last year, of course, it was hosted out in Providence, and they really did a
good job.
Really good job out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, they got the two fields wedged side by side there, so it was a good place to host the event. So we sure hope we'll get another crack at maybe hosting something like that again down the line. Van de Westeen got the pass from Curtis. Van de Westeen lets it fly, just a little bit off the mark. Yeah, when you get a chance to hoof it, especially when you're playing into the wind, you might as well take a crack at it instead of trying to make another pass.
Box. Yeah, any shot, the wind's gonna carry it.
So Molly Major gets ready to load it up. That missile finds the Bobcats instead. Van de Westeen controls it, goes back over to Rozier. Rozier lets it fly. Now is deflected off Tierney. In the corner, out of play. Bobcats ball here.
It's Natasha Vermeet taking the throw in for the Bobcats. Another throw for Vermeet.
Yeah, Natasha gets it into play. It's a header by the Pilots. Kicked ahead there by Waychuk of the Pilots. And we're back to live action here one more time. It was Tierney there, number 16 for Providence. Hertberger put it up. Almost taken away there by Thompson, who's right in the thick of things, trying to get it away from two Pilot defenders.
Keenock forcing it out, and Hertberger to take the throw in for Providence.
So Hertberger found Alex Dumont, number 8. Now it's back with Rozier. Over to Thompson. Van de Westeen, fancy footwork by her. Long kick, trying to find that open teammate. In Natasha Vermette, number 15. Vermette has the power in her hands. Rolls it back into play. Instead, it finds the wrong jerseys, but there's Van de Westeen one more time. Has that one taken away from her. Putting on the brakes a little bit there was number 8, Alex Dumont. Now they race down the sideline, and Curtis knocks that one out of play. Look at the replays here. Ooh!
That would hurt. Any contact in this cold, your muscles are gonna feel it.
Yeah, that was Heidi and Curtis colliding there, but Curtis tough as nails, making the play there.
Keenock trying to clear for Beal.
Back with Thompson at midfield right now. Makasoff, 18 for the Bobcats, was there, but just for the moment. Lindsay Dueck, number 2 for the Pilots, kicked it up, and then it goes out of play. Off the head of Rozier. Down to pick it up is Lindsay Dueck. Controlled by Providence. Rozier right in the mix there again, trying to create a turnover for the Bobcats. Chance for BU. That kick deflected. Molly Major hustles over to pick it up. Throws it over to teammate Paige Heidi. Heidi kicks it down the sidelines. There goes Alex Dumont. Dumont, the burst of speed, busting into the Bobcat zone, and Lord Craig busts up that play there for the Bobcats. Craig, that defensive specialist, I keep saying it for BU, and so far she's arriving as advertised here for the Bobcats on a chilly day with that wind sweeping across HLC Field. Chance at it, and they will score. Thought Curtis was going to have that one. Instead, it's the Pilots putting that one in the back of the net, and that'll warm the Providence Pilots up a little bit. They get the opening goal of this contest. I don't know if we got a replay on it or not. Kind of looked like a harmless looking play, didn't it?
I think, I mean, if I was BU, it looked like it was going out. So kind of just leaving it to roll out, and the Providence player just kept going on it. And it just worked out in their favor, and that's what goes back to what I said at the beginning. You always have to be switched on. You can never turn off, no matter where the ball is, where it is on the field, where you are.
Yeah, I think you're exactly right. We didn't have the best vantage point at it, kind of a thing from here, but I think you're exactly right. It looked like pretty harmless, and like you said, that it looked like the ball was going to be going out of bounds there.
Yeah, there's no movement from BU, and I think it was just looked like it was harmless, and it ended up costing them.
Yeah, it kind of looked like it caught everybody a little bit
off guard.
A little bit off guard there, but nonetheless, Pilots pick up the opening goal, and they lead 1-0 here against the host Bobcats. So Pilots control it at midfield one more time. That was Chloe Yon, number 7. That kick went off. And Natasha Vermette, number 15 for the Bobcats.
Free kick for Jessica Waychuk, number 12 for Providence.
So Waychuk into the win, but that's a good kick. Went off Chelsea McKay, and there's 3 Bobcats coming back the other way, and transition here. Racing forward is Makasoff. 1 or 2 steps behind there, almost had a break. But Molly Major doing a good job controlling that. Really that entire area, very active and getting out there. And
yeah, she's not afraid to step out of her box and come meet the ball. Duick to take the throw in for Providence.
So that's thrown into play. Bobcats will get it if it doesn't go out of bounds. McKay raced back to keep it in play. That one's kicked downfield. Still controlled though by Providence. Rosier getting tangled up there with Alex Dumont of the Pilots, number 8. So this is going to belong to the Bobcats here. Not sure how close we are to halftime. We got some substitutions here for the Pilots here. Let's see, Michaela Miller at number 11 is among the substitutions there. There's Miller in the mix there with Rosier. So yeah, we're
just over 15 minutes.
So another glorious opportunity here for the Pilots. They already lead 1-0 here on a goal that caught the Bobcats off guard. There's a really good kick. Skramstad got a paw on it. That was a good stop by Emily Skramstad.
Just got a couple fingers on it, and that was enough to deflect it.
So Skramstad, Johnny on the spot there to pick up that high kick, and a really good kick there by the Pilots. She had to be on guard for that one. Herberger comes back to her. It's controlled by Waychuk there. She still has it, dishes it off to Paige Heidi. Rozier there to stop that offensive chance for Providence. Lindsay Duick racing over. That was Natasha Vermette got tangled up with the Providence player. Possession still belongs to the visitors. We got a substitution here on the Brandon side as well.
Kaylee Thompson out. Chloe Rozier coming back to up front where Kaylee was. And Brooke Bradshaw taking that far defensive position.
So Bradshaw in for the Bobcats. They trail 1-0. 39 minutes into this opening half. Controlled by Providence. Over to Paige Heidi. Heidi kept it. And Westing kicks it downfield, and it's going to be a race for it. Temple over to Molly Major. That one kicked high, and that wind, it was like hitting a brick wall. Rozier tried to create a turnover, could not. There's Major one more time.
And that explains the move that BU did with that last substitution, trying to get a more offensive presence by moving Rozier back out to the wing.
Craig, she was there. So was Madison Kynock, number 5 there for the Bobcats. Vanda Westing controls it at midfield, has it, tried to give it a mighty kick downfield. Goes smack dab off a Pilots player and out of play. Just make sure you stay tuned at halftime as well for those alumni profiles as well. We got 3 of them for you coming up during the halftime break. Trying to thread the needle between the Pilot defenders, could not. In control one more time by Dumont there. Racing down the sideline right now is Paige Heidi. Heidi trying to get some separation. Craig was there. Stevenson was there too with an opportunity that eluded her. Rozier kicks it back. Vanda Westing will control it right now for the Bobcats. She kicks it downfield. It goes off the shin of Lindsay Duick. Curtis trying to go for the header.
Oh, caught Curtis's elbow, so handball for Providence.
That gets across midfield into the feet of Paige Heidi. That was Dumont again one more time. Trying to bust through. Rozier's in there. It's still controlled by Paige Heidi. Strong feet by her to control it for Providence as they're trying to get another goal here before the halftime break. Rozier with a good pass up to Vanda Westing. That was stopped by Waychuk. Veteran player, a lot of experience for the Pilots, as I mentioned earlier in the broadcast. Conference All-Star last season. Herberger throws it in. Went off Stevenson. Now Dumont one more time, but Vanda Westing takes it away from her. Curtis tried to kick it upfield. Right at midfield are these two teams right now, and it was Kayla Miller trying to thread the needle. Racing for it is Stevenson.
And Scramstad making it.
And Scramstad with the wind helping her out there. Off a foot, off a shin. Vanda Westing tried to control it, could not. It was Waychuk one more time here for the Pilots. Makes a nice pass, and here's going to be another opportunity. It's for the Pilots. That kick goes off the mark, but Alex Dumont has had some good opportunities here to score for the Pilots.
Really strong player on that wing. But good on Brooke Bradshaw for staying with her, forcing her to take it with her least favorable foot.
So the kick will find a Providence player, but then there's a whistle on the play. So possession will belong to the Bobcats as we're getting down to crunch time here before halftime. That kick found Vanda Westing. Curtis tried to play it up, could not. Back the other way. come the Pilots. Van de Westine interrupts that opportunity for Providence, but now Pilots control it one more time. They kick it down the field, but it goes out of play. So it's Pilots' possession here. Throwing it back into play. Still belongs to the Pilots here. A big tangle web there of players that are kind of keeping the ball down in that corner of the field, which is kind of a tough spot for JC and I to see what's going on down that way.
Alex Dumont holding the ball for Prov.
Looked like there was going to be a good kick there for Pilots, but Van de Westine came back to break it up and just tangle up that Providence player. There's a long high kick. Skramstad's there, picks it up, no problem. And Skramstad with a mighty kick downfield. Rozier hustling for it.
Rozier's still staying on it.
Yeah, went
looking
off
for her help.
Of Hertberger. Hertberger kicks it out of play. And
BU throwing. Looks like it's going to be number 10, Kylie Van de Westine, taking the throw. Correction, Brooke Bradshaw's going to take the throw for BU.
So Bradshaw over to Van de Westine. That's controlled.
Nice kick by
Slick
Kylie
move,
Van de
yeah.
Westine. And really good for Natasha Vermeet to run in on that.
Yeah, Major had to really be laser focused there because that wind could have brought that ball any which way. As it's now the end of the first half. It's 1-0 in favor of the visiting Providence Pilots. If you're watching on the Bobcat YouTube channel or on WCGTV channel 12. So the Bobcats had the wind with them. They'll be going against it when the second half gets underway here. As I mentioned, we have 3 videos to show you during our halftime break here. And the first one is really a guy that was a staple here at Brandon University for a number of years, and that is our former athletic director, George Berger. He passed away October 10th at the age of 91. We're going to miss George a lot. He was a giant here at BU and really did really big things for the Bobcats. Let's have a look. Brandon University Athletics is celebrating the life of Sports Wall of Famer George Berger, who passed away October 10th at the age of 91. Berger was hired as BU Athletic Director in 1978 and brought a wealth of experience. He served as AD at Lakehead University and also coached the men's basketball team. In 1969, Lakehead went 21 games undefeated. The team featured legendary Brandon coach Jerry Hemmings and former Bobcat Joe Parks.
George was like a father to me. I mean, he recruited me. We had a relationship for 51 years. I played for George. I worked under him as men's basketball coach when he was the athletic director. I mean, he had a great mentality for, developing teams, developing coaches. So, definitely he leaves a great legacy behind.
The Bobcats achieved greatness under Berger's guidance. In men's hockey, Brandon was ranked #1 in Canada for the first time in 80-81 and captured the Great Plains Athletic Conference title. Andy Murray was bench boss at the time, before going on to a coaching career in the National Hockey League.
I believe his trust in me is what gave me the opportunity to reach some of the other goals that I had in life and in hockey as well there too. I mean, he was a guy that inspired me every single day. I think one of the big things with George, he just worked so hard, was so determined, was so competitive, was a bulldog.
The 80-81 season also saw the women's basketball program reach the top 10 rankings in the country and finish 1 win shy of a league championship. BU's roster included All-Canadian Janet Lumsden. Berger was her lifelong mentor.
George came into my life when I was 16. Right from the minute I met him at the Canada Games, his kind eyes and his ability to be so genuine with you, he really made you feel like he cared about you as a person and then as an athlete. He said he would call, and I was in grade 11, and he called, and he called, and he called, and he developed a really sound relationship with my family. And at that time, my father had just left, and my parents got a divorce, and so when I arrived at BU, he stepped in and told me that he wanted to be that male role model for me. Ever since then, he has been a constant in my life.
In his final season as AD in 1987, the BU men's basketball team made history, being crowned national champions.
To see us winning that national championship was a real sense of pride for all the work and effort that he put into establishing the athletic programs at Brandon University.
Berger was born and raised in Winter, South Dakota, and was an all-state football player in college. He and his family spent the last 30-plus years living in Tucson. For nearly 2 decades, he was facility and equipment director at the University of Arizona. Berger's background in sports has been well recognized, being inducted into over 40 different Hall of Fames. Yeah, it was really emotional putting that tribute together for George, a guy I had the opportunity to visit down in Arizona last winter. He came up here a couple of years ago as well for one of our Wall of Fame events, and you just heard, the comments from Coach Hemmings, Andy Murray, Janet Lums, and certainly a guy that had a really big impact here, and we're really going to miss a lot. But we got 2 more other alumni spotlights to take you through. One of them is actually a guy that used to race up and down the field here with the Bobcat football team at one time, and he was also a really good soccer player back in his heyday as well. Let's have a look. All Gary Smith needed was 2 feet and a heartbeat.
My brother and I were raised by a single mom. Mom was of the belief that if you kept kids busy, they wouldn't get into trouble. And so Mom put us into almost every sport that there was.
Born and raised in Brandon, the pitch suited him best. He felt like a kid again in his early 20s when English soccer legend Sir Stanley Matthews played alongside him.
He purchased a team over here in North America, and he was doing a cross-Canada tour to promote his team. He ended up coming to Brandon and played a soccer game with our soccer team. He played center forward, and I played inside right. It was amazing.
Smith was never one to stay flat-footed. After one season at the University of North Dakota, he returned home to play with the Bobcats. He also came back to tie the knot, and Coach Doug Steeves heard wedding bells on the football field.
I went to the coach's office, and I said, "Coach, I can't play next weekend." And he said, "Why not?" And I said, "Well, I'm getting married that day." And he stopped for a moment and he said, "How about this? How about if we line up all the players on the Bobcat team on both sides of center, and you and your bride walked out to center field and you get married out there?" Well, I didn't even bother running it past my fiance because I knew that was going to be unacceptable, so I had to miss that game.
On the gridiron, Smith was a go-getter. He offered versatility and consistency as a field goal kicker.
He's an natural athlete. He had, with that, good speed, good hands, and a very good foot. With his speed, he could run down guys on defense. He could catch a pass, and with his good hands, leave people behind.
Smith played 3 years at BU and won the Jim Casey Award for Sportsmanship in 72-73. Before becoming an educator and a phys ed supervisor in the Turtle River School Division. Provincial funding was put towards upgrading gyms, and Smith helped bring them to life.
They built 6 new schools with good-sized gymnasiums, but it was my job to design the gymnasiums, to put the lines on the floor, like you see here. Once we got the gymnasiums, to hire qualified physical education teachers to fulfill
Smith became principal at McCreary and stayed involved in sports by coaching and officiating. His Bobcat football life kick-started it all.
One of the biggest things is the class sizes, the camaraderie that we had here. I wanted to be around young people and coach them and referee and teach phys ed. That's basically what I wanted to do. It's home to me, Brandon University, yeah.
Okay, we got one more alumni spotlight to play for you, and then I'm sure we'll be getting right back to live action here. We're going to go down to the beautiful community of Hemmiota for this next alumni spotlight. Growing up in the sports hotbed of Hemmiota, it became apparent at a young age that athletics would have a lifelong impact on Tara Pitt's Knee-Dale.
We were very athletic growing up. We had lots of role models within the community, and with that came great coaches. So from baseball coaches to basketball coaches, volleyball, we just had a lot of wealth of knowledge in the community.
Pitts was an all-star in basketball, soccer, and volleyball, but her hoops career stands out. She led her hometown Huskies to provincial championships in '93 and '94, cementing the team's place in history. Hemmiota's high school dynasty was inducted into the Manitoba Basketball Hall of Fame in 2007.
When you're just a kid, you're just playing and having fun and loving the sport, but now I'm flipping through old yearbooks or through old memories, and yesterday I was through the photo albums, and yeah, you remember all the good times, and you understand now what that meant and what kind of an accomplishment it was, so yeah, it really sinks in.
Don Thompson recruited her to join the Bobcats, where she played 5 seasons. She captured the HS Purdue Award for Sportsmanship in '98-99. In her senior year, in '99-2000, she was honored as a Great Plains Athletic Conference second-team All-Star and BU's Female Athlete of the Year.
When I think back to the university days, I'm definitely thinking of, I love a hard practice. I want to work hard. I want to play hard. We were in a tough conference, so it was GPAC back then, and there was great teams, and you had to step it up and play to the best of your ability. So for me, I love the work ethic, the hard work, and just playing the sport.
Branching out on her own, Pitts took a big step, teaching in London, England for 2 years.
I really missed family. I missed home, a little bit of the simplicity, and now I drive home and you're looking through the fields and the cows are there and the horses, and you truly miss home, and this is where I was meant to be.
She is now teaching and coaching at Verdon Junior High, while giving back to minor baseball. So what would you say is the one main lesson that you kind of want to instill in up-and-coming players?
Probably the belief in themselves and that dedication and hard work pays off.
Pitts also has a passion for crunching numbers in the classroom. She has taken on a lead role with a nationwide program that helps students excel with their math skills.
We want to see student improvement, and it is. You can see your math scores go up. You can see students understanding concepts and everything. So it's all about teacher instruction, improving student achievement.
She's applied what she's learned in sport to everyday life. The benefits of being a Bobcat continues to add up.
I wear my Bobcat t-shirt all the time. I'm proud that I went here. I try to give back to my community. I want to coach. I want to help girls and boys achieve their dreams and, take the experiences. So yeah, if I can give back in any way, but I'm proud to be a Bobcat, and it was a great experience here.
Well, I almost had it timed out perfectly. We're back to live action. We don't need my mug on there any more than when we have to have it. So it's 1-0 for Providence Pilots after they had scored the opening goal in the first half. Now the advantage of Mother Nature will go in favor of the Pilots here. They're going to have the win with them here for this second half. So away chuck number 12 for Pilots, lines things up and lets it fly. A little bit of a curve on it, eludes everybody, and Scramstad hustles over to pick up that loose ball. Yeah, Bobcats will be sprinkling in a few more friendlies before the season comes to a close here. And as I mentioned, next Sunday, the same two teams are facing off again. So Skramstad's kick found the Pilots instead. A little give and go here, but Rozier's there to break up that play there for the Bobcats. Good defensive play by her. Lauren Craig kicks it out of bounds, controlled here by the Providence Pilots as the second half just nicely gets underway in this exhibition contest at HLC Field right next to the Healthy Living Center and Brandon University. Pilots controlling it here for the most part right now. To start this second half, they got one goal, looking for an insurance marker as well. Trying to work her way in there, got tangled up. There's a whistle on the play.
It's looking like a free kick, a penalty kick right in the box for Providence.
And here's a look at it on the replay here.
So just a trip committed by BU and just a step inside the box.
So it's Catherine Tierney, and Tierney finds it. Far corner, bang, and Crimea River. The Providence Pilots are up by a pair. It's 2-0 with Tierney finding the back of the net.
He is really going to have to fight to get both those goals back. Be more careful around the bodies and
yeah, when you're the goalie and you're kind of facing that situation, what are you? I know you weren't a goalie, but what are you? But you know, you're kind of you're in such a tough spot there.
From what, like, I've asked my goalies the same question, like, how do you prepare for a free kick? And they say you just have to commit to a side. You can look at the player's body, and that can kind of give you a hint of which way they're thinking of going. But you, as a shooter, you can change last minute, right? So as a goalie, you just have to commit to a side and hope for the best.
So out of play it goes. It's going to belong to the Bobcats here. Brooke Bradshaw, number 12. Bradshaw will try to get this into play here. Bobcats, you can see some of the players there. They're getting huddled up there a little bit. That wind is getting awfully chilly here. Nice deke, trying to find the far corner with precision accuracy, and that one was just off the mark by Anna Green. Good kick by Green. And Skramstad's off in the wilderness there to get that ball, but here's a look at the replay. Really good kick, and it just missed.
Yeah.
Tough to know by just from that vantage point how close it was, but that looked like it had
a goal
potential. All over it. Yeah.
If there was that lucky or unlucky gust of wind, would have pushed it in.
Here's Lauren Craig. Really, I think, taking on a really important leadership role this season. And you know what? I'm sure it would be, under these circumstances with what all these players are facing. But in my opinion, anyway, JC, if there's anybody out there that could be a really good type of a energizer bug for them, would be Lauren. She seems to be somebody that really keeps things in perspective. I've talked to her a number of different times about, this situation, everything like that, and she's always kind of had the right words,
Yeah, she's definitely come out of her shell from when she first joined us, and I think it'll really help her in the coming years to become that leader that they'll need.
Well, corner kick is coming up here for Providence. Again, that wind's going to be working with the Pilots here. Let's see what they can do for it. Looking for a header. It's loose there. It's kicked out of harm's way by the Bobcats. Goes off ahead of a Pilots player. Still controlled by the visitors. Racing out to it now, though, is Madison Kynock, number 5 for the Bobcats. And away comes BU across midfield, but only for the moment. Right back the other way come the Pilots, looking for some more offense here. It's off Lauren Craig, who was with Banda Westeen, but just for a second. Rozier's racing in there, too. And the Pilots are starting to pack a punch here at the HLC, and there's bit of
a shove from
shoulder-to-shoulder shot there between the Bobcats and the Pilots there.
I definitely thought that one would have gone BU's way, but I guess Jason saw otherwise.
Well, 20-some years of experience under his belt, and he's tough as nails. He's got shorts on. Here comes the kick here by Waychuk. Trying to find that far corner. Skramstad equal to the task and makes the save for the Bobcats. Yeah, Skramstad, one of the very few returnees that the Bobcats have. Can Brandon race up there and get something going up on offense? They cannot. Stingy defense here by the Pilots, and they're looking to make it count back the other way. Craig there trying to intercept, and Will makes a good defensive play, does Lauren Craig. Just keeps it, puts it off a shin, and out of play it goes, but it will belong to the Pilots here. I find the more that I talk, the warmer I get. So let's keep this pace of play going here for the rest of this second half, please. Yeah, Pilots lead by 2 here. And the way these two teams are kind of going at it, you'd figured it was an MCAC regular season game. They've both been pushing the pace pretty good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no team, and I don't think any team that's playing even exhibition will treat these games like an exhibition, right? They're just grateful to have a chance to play, play with their team, so that competitive edge will come out regardless.
Yeah, well, I think for a lot of people, regardless what type of physical activity they happen to be doing, they're just happy to get the chance to go out and do it. We all know that winter's coming, and pretty soon we're going to be locked indoors for a while. Rosier controls it here for the Bobcats and kicks it up to Vermette. Vermette lost it. Anna Green was there. Back with Rosier one more time. McKay. She is stopped. It's a 3-on-2 break back the other way here for the Pilots. Rosier. The shoulder shot. And
called advantage.
I won't be messing with her anytime soon if she's going to be out there like that. I tell you that much. Every time I see her, she's smiling and so polite. But yeah, I won't try and get into an argument with her anytime soon. So tangled up down in the corner there were the Bobcats and the Pilots.
Brooke Bradshaw to take the throw in for the Bobcats.
So Bradshaw will throw it in. Van de Westeen. Out of play it goes.
And Bradshaw again.
Yeah, deja vu all over again. So Bradshaw will throw it in. Found a Pilot instead. McKay racing back to keep it out of harm's way. Kicks it out of bounds.
This will be a corner kick for Jessica Waychuk for Providence.
How are you as a corner kicker?
Like taking the kick or waiting for the kick?
Both.
I prefer receiving the kick, personally.
There's the kick. Who's going to receive it? Tangled up in there. Rosier tried to kick it away. Bobcats will dodge a bit of a bullet there, but the Pilots just keep pouring it on here. Nice passing from the Pilots. Racing down the corner. That's a high shot that sails away from the steel cage, and Skramstad will run over and pick it up, and we'll be right back at it again. So Skramstad scouts the situation here. And she lets it go. Found Bradshaw with it.
And off number 3, which is Sophia Beltram of Providence. So Bradshaw will take her throw in.
Got a whistle. Rolly's making sure they're in the proper position for the ball to go back into play again. Van de Westeen was there, but she just had it just for a second. Working their way back into their zone, and now across midfield one more time are the Pilots. McKay, it's at her feet, dishes it off. Tangled up there were the Pilots and Bobcats, and BU is going to come across midfield here and try to get something going up on offense. It was Makasoff racing for it. In hot pursuit was Vermette, and no. Molly Major will have no part of that. She scoops it up and kicks it back to midfield again, where it was just off Beltram. There's McKay kicking it high. Van de Westing trying to make her move, cannot. Anna Green intercepts. Green keeps. Passes it back off to Duick. And that ball goes out of bounds.
And that was BU's first real chance since the half started. And I think they're feeling that wind, and Providence is definitely putting the pressure on them on their defense, so they'll have to find a way to penetrate that.
And right back it goes, but there's McKay there with almost a karate kick to put it back in the Providence zone. Do whatever it takes. There's a kick up field by Brooke Bradshaw, and then right back at you by Ava Temple. Now it's with Rosier. McKay.
Just out.
Yeah, was looking for Bradshaw there. So Lindsay Duick scouting her options. And went over to Anna Green. Back to Duick one more time, and that one goes out of play. Well, Pilots know they're in a pretty good spot here right now. Got a 2-0 lead. That came off a free kick from number 16, Catherine Tierney, a little bit earlier in the second half. And then the first goal in the first half was kind of a harmless looking play that the Pilots kind of took advantage of and
looked like it was
scored
just
against the
going out.
Bobcats. Yeah, it was one of those plays where you sleep at the wheel for a second or two, and it's all of a sudden it's in the back of your net. So at midfield right now, and across it are the Bobcats. That kick racing forward right now was Makasoff. Intercepting it and keeping it out of their cage. That kick off Green's foot.
And BU we can see them starting to pressure a little bit more, get their passes down. Before it was a lot of just kicking the ball with no intention. And now they're bringing back the look for your player and intentional passes, which I think is going to help them. They still have a chance to come back in this game for sure.
Rosier controls it right now for the Bobcats, trying to find that edge. She dished it off to Vermette.
Rosier's still staying on it.
The second half goal scorer here for the Pilots, number 16 there. But BU starting to get a little bit of momentum going. You can kind of feel that tide's maybe starting to turn a little bit here. Van de Westing makes a good play at midfield, but then lost a second crack at it. Chloe Yon, number 7. Yon busts through, tries to make a nice pass. It's a breakaway. Can they score? And they will. No!
Craig coming in.
Man, good gravy. What a play by Lorne Craig. Man, I thought that had goal written all over it. I thought you could.
I think Michaela Meyer had that just planned. And
boom, what a fantastic play. Yeah.
Craig couldn't have been there at a better time.
Meyer looked, well, Skramstad she was deked right around there, and then Craig, what a fantastic defensive play by her to keep it just a 2-goal deficit here for the Bobcats. That's got to be the play of the game so far.
I think that'll definitely light a fire under BU to pick up the momentum too. We saw it starting to pick up before that breakaway, and I think we'll just see it increase more.
Corner kick, there's a header.
Too high.
Yeah, just a little bit too high on that one. Yeah, you got to see here now. Will that nice defensive stop by Craig? Will that? I'm sure Emily will be buying her lunch now after that one. Well, Scramstad's played, you know what, you think about the 2 goals. I mean, the one was that free kick, and then the second, and then the one from the first half. You know, really it was just one of those things where it's, you wish you could have a do-over on that one almost. It, you know, it was no fault of her own kind of a thing. It was just kind of an unfortunate break there that he thought one way and ended up being the other. There's Green.
Real good stop by McKay.
Yeah, Bobcats have really got to, the defense has got to be locked down tight here. Back the other way come the Bobcats. It's Natasha Vermette. That's number 15, Vermette, looking for an open teammate. Deflected. Kicked back the other way. This one's going to go out of play. Crashes into our
camera station.
Our camera area here. So Brooke Bradshaw. Bradshaw gets it over to Rozier, who will walk the tightrope here. Rozier almost got it back. Deflects off a shin, out of play, and it's going to belong here to the Pilots. Lindsay Duick, number 2. Trying to spot an open teammate. Goes down the sideline. It goes off of, I guess that went off Bradshaw because it's going to be a ball that belongs to the visitors from Otterburn. So Duick one more time. That one goes off.
Off the body of a Prov player.
Yep, off
Bradshaw
Beltram.
to take the ball again.
We're getting a really good vantage point because they're right smack dab in front of us here for the last couple of minutes here. Trying to race away with it. Oh man, and I think that Meyer thought she had a breakaway coming up there. That pass is almost, you know, threading the needle to perfection there, but not quite there for the Pilots. Their lead still 2-0 here against the host Bobcats at HLC Field. You might be watching on our YouTube channel, but it's all thanks to our longtime broadcast partners from the WCGTV. You really got to give these the 2 camera folks that we have right on top of the truck. They got heart and soul written all over them because you got to remember they're right up into that wind.
Yeah.
You know.
We're a little sheltered down here, but
I kind of wanted us to do the broadcast from right on top of the HLC. Wouldn't that have been great if you and I could have been up there?
On the roof or
the
track?
On the roof.
Oh.
Right on the roof.
I thought you had us up on the track looking out the window, so I was really hopeful.
No, that would have been so boring.
It would have been warm.
We gotta, you know, we've got to toughen up a little bit here. And I thought, you know what? Okay, that was an option, was to do it inside, but I'm like, come on.
It's not bad now that we've warmed up.
No. Okay, so Chloe Rozier here now. Bobcats need a goal, and they need one in a hurry here. So they're going to the lightning bug.
Rozier to take the free kick.
So Rozier into the wind. Racing for it, but Natasha Vermette was there, but not
so
quite.
So was Molly Major, who's been really good for Providence.
So Providence with 2 goals in their back pocket here, and time is of the essence here for the Bobcats. McKay kicks it upfield, and here comes BU one more time. Trying to get through the defenders was Makasoff. And Westing trying to make her move, cannot. Rozier hustling in there as well. Bobcats work it back to midfield. Bumped up off the back of Chloe Yon. Stays with BU here. It's Bradshaw one more time. Right in her grill, though, is Sophia Beltram. You can hear Chelsea McKay out there shouting words of encouragement to her teammates as the Bobcats, they got to light the lamp sooner rather than later here if they want to get themselves back into this one.
And communication makes all the difference in your game. If your team's not talking, it reflects in your gameplay. There's no plan, there's no organization. So good on Chelsea for trying to get the team talking, communicating.
Yeah, well, it looked like the Pilots were going to run the daylight there, but McKay just does the smart play, just gets it out of bounds, and the Violets and the Bobcats reset here. That's tapped up field and right back the other way off the foot of Temple. Rozier thought about going with the header, has it at her feet and dishes it off, and that one's kicked up midfield. Van de Westeen, her eyes lit up like a Christmas tree there. She thought she was a goner there too, but the Pilots put a stop to that. Off ahead, out of play. We'll have the call on the men's game coming up for you. That's got a 3:15 start for that one. And JC and I will get some coffee in us or whatever, and we'll
be able to warm up a little bit.
We'll be back. Yep, we'll be back. Rozier, that went through her legs, but there's McKay there. Last line of defense there for the Bobcats made a good play. Madison Kynock in the mix there, going up against Chloe Yan of the Pilots. Rozier kicks it and finds a teammate. Back the other way come the Bobcats. They're at midfield.
It's gone back.
Yeah,
Craig on Meyer forced it out, and it's going to be a Skramstad goalie kick.
So let's see what Skramstad can do with it here.
Okay,
McKay's
to Bradshaw.
kick. Yeah, that's
Bradshaw to Rozier.
Rozier. There's Van de Westeen. Lost it. Rozier doubles back. Now Bradshaw puts it upfield. Just out of the reach of Van de Westeen there.
Van de Westeen's just ready. As soon as she gets the ball, she's looking to run. But Prov is sticking right on her.
Throw in by Bradshaw. Ended up finding Chloe Yan instead. Still with the Pilots, trying to push through there was Anna Green, number 20 for Providence. Van de Westeen goes sky high with that one to see if the Bobcats can get something rolling. Makasoff is trying to find the edge. Now back at midfield one more time here. Still belongs to the Bobcats here. Again, down by a pair here against the visiting Providence Pilots. Providence trying to break through here. They double back. They control it. A little deke. And a move upfield one more time. And it looks like something's going to be coming here for the Pilots as they race down.
Craig getting a 12 on that, on Meyer's run to knock it out, causing a Providence goal, corner kick.
Yeah, Craig's made some good plays here for the Bobcats up on defense. She's going to be joining us for a quick interview after the game's all said and done. So corner kick here for the Pilots. And here it comes. Someone trying to get a piece of it. There's Zell, and they're going to put it in.
Looks like it was Anna Green that scored that goal for Providence. Number 20.
Yeah, right place, right time. Good corner kick there by the Pilots as we take a look at the replay, and it's so nice we get to see it twice. That one eludes Skramstad. It's in the back of the net, and the Pilots up by 1-2-3 here.
And as unfortunate as that is for BU, for Prov, that's exactly what you want to happen. You want to have a scramble in front of the goalkeeper. They have no idea where the ball is, where the players are, and it worked out for Providence.
Van de Westeen's kick goes off a Providence player, and Lindsay Duick out of play.
BU still has just under 20 minutes. They can still come back, equalize.
So Bradshaw throws it in to Van de Westeen. They go right back to McKay. McKay's kick finds a Providence player. player instead, and the Pilots trying to break through one more time. It's still at midfield. That one almost went out of bounds. Instead, it was Green that controlled it there for a bit for the Pilots, and she's got it one more time, tried to deke around Bradshaw. So Bradshaw holds it here for the Bobcats, gets it back into play. Went through Rosier and Van de Westine.
Craig coming up.
Yeah, Craig with the header. Back come the Pilots. It was Tierney trying to thread the needle for Beltram. Yeah, imagine these elements when you can only stay moving and stay warm for so long before you. So we got a whistle here, and Waychuk lines it up, and we'll try to dial this one in from long distance. Unless there's a header, there was one, and sails out of play, and Skramstad goes back to collect. How much time we got left, JC?
Just over 15 minutes. Substitution for Providence. I think it's Alex Dumont coming in for Prov.
So it's controlled here by BU. Skramstad dished it. Van de Westine had a chance at it, instead taken away by the Pilots. They control it one more time to the visitors. Alex Dumont, who's had some good bursts of speed here in this game. She really looked impressive in that first half for the Pilots. And back into the Bobcat zone one more time. It's a Bobcats ball here. Ends off deflecting off a Providence player, goes out of play one more time. Haven't had any balls go across the street yet.
I thought for sure with that wind we would have some, but
yeah, normally you can count on at least one or two going across to Earl Oxford School, but nothing so far. Trying to split the defenders and make something happen up on offense was Chloe Yon. No. Pilots got the Bobcats hemmed in here, racing for it, and first to it was Anna Green. Another whistle here. And the official, Jason Rowley, points towards the Bobcats net, so Providence will have another crack at it here. It's Waychuk. Waychuk trying to dial it in there one more time, trying to find an open player. Skramstad hustle back for it. She had to move quickly to get back into position there, makes the save, so it stays a 3-0 game here at HLC Field.
And it's going to be a Providence corner kick for Waychuk.
That's how the last goal came about, was on a corner kick for Pilots. Nothing too crafty, nothing groundbreaking with it. It was just a good scramble play that the Pilots cashed in on, and that one is in the back of the net, I do believe. Well, that was dialing it up from long distance and using Mother Nature to your advantage. What a goal there.
I don't think Waychuk believed that it went in. She just stared at her coaches in disbelief, and nice goal by Waychuk.
Well, that was pure genius by Waychuk there. I think she had that up her sleeve the whole time. She knew that the wind was with her.
Yeah, totally planned it.
So the Pilots firmly in the driver's seat here, up 4-0 over the Bobcats, with Madison Kynock trying to find the edge on Alex Dumont. Cannot. And the Pilots look to keep pouring on the offense here. At midfield, across it. The Pilots, they almost, I'm not good with my defensive lingo for soccer, but it's almost like they have like a trap set up there. Just, it's so tough for Brandon to get across midfield.
Yeah, I think what they're doing is they're pulling BU apart. So when you're on the defense, you're to stay close together, and then when you attack, you spread out. And they're preventing BU from coming close together. So if BU does get the ball or they are defending, they don't have that support.
So Waychuk had the latest goal here for the Pilots, a wicked corner kick. Maybe there's an opportunity if we have a little break in the action. That'd be nice to maybe see a replay if we happen to get that goal on camera.
I think it played twice.
It did.
Yeah.
It's tough for me to look. It's just I just don't see it there very often. But yeah, that's one for the
nice
highlight
goal.
reel for Waychuk. She'll be pretty popular back at Providence after scoring that one. Let me tell you. Because I was probably thinking that from where we saw it here that it deflected off somebody, but it just had that right turn, that right amount of
that wind came
ball
at the right
rotation,
time for her.
And in the back of the net it went. Well, I think you're right. I think she was probably the last person that thought it was going to go in when everybody went over to give her a hug, kind of a thing, and then and there you are. So, well, Waychuk, I was pumping her tires earlier about being a conference all-star from last season, and she's living up to that top billing here so far in this one for sure. There's a long kick that ends up off a yawn. So there's a long kick by the Bobcats, trying to pick it up and bust in. Was Makasoff, could not. It stays at midfield one more time. There's Rozier with it, trying to kick it into play for Van de Westing. Van de Westing trying to find that edge and make that move. Seen her do it a number of times so far in a Bobcat blue and gold jersey, but couldn't find that edge there. So Bradshaw will try to find the open teammate here, with time starting to become a factor here for the Bobcats. Van de Westing, a fancy footwork there. Still dipsy doodling through everybody, and out of play it went. Well, everybody will get a few extra steps in on their counter, having to pick up their own ball from the Benny's ball rollers not able to go this season. So Bradshaw one more time will look to throw this thing in. Went to Van de Westing with it. Vermette looked like she was going to have a chance at it, but was taken away by the Pilots, and they break back the other way, racing down the sideline. Here comes Beltram with it. Beltram with a burst of speed. Rozier hustling over, and Rozier kicks it out of play.
Real good hustle by Chloe Rozier. Beltram wasn't impressed with the ball being cleared, but now Jessica Waychuk can take a nice lap to get the ball.
Yeah, that one's way out there. Yeah, that one's way down by the fence line. I don't know if they...
I think they'll bring in another ball.
You think so?
Yeah.
They will, yeah. So it's going to be a Providence chance here.
It's Waychuk again.
Yeah, Waychuk scored from the other corner. Can lightning strike twice for her here? She's got it set, and here it comes. Off ahead, and Alou scramps at it into the back of the net it goes. Drawing some contact there. Another good kick by Waychuk from the corner. And the Pilots have now scored 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 against the Bobcats.
And that looked like it was scored by number 11, Kayla Miller.
So Miller, unofficial goal scorer, I guess we'll call it for right now, because we're just not 100% sure on the deflection, but nonetheless,
seems to be who
it's
they're congratulating.
Yeah, nonetheless, it's the Providence Pilots that have a 5-0 lead here over the Bobcats.
Some shuffling going on with the Bobcats. They've moved Kylie Van de Westine out to the outer mid.
Well, whatever Providence has been working on for, off their, I'm sure when they're going through their corner kick drills and practice and all, they've really got that dialed in pretty good, don't they?
Yeah.
There's Curtis back in, over to Rozier. Rozier trying to find Van de Westine with it. Peyton Bardwell's in here, number 16 here for the Bobcats.
Peyton again to take the throw.
Try to go off Van de Westine. Rozier trying to make her move. That one races out of play. Just getting it out of harm's way are the Pilots there. Just a smart play by them to not try to do anything special with it. Just get it out of there. Still controlled by BU, but just for the moment here. Pilots have got it. They lost it. Then it's, there's going to be a whistle there. That one was out of play by the time that Peyton had kicked it. So Bardwell throws it in. Found the Pilot instead. Goes off a foot, out of play, and we'll do it all over again. So maybe the third time will be a charm here for Bardwell. And to Rozier.
Just out.
Yeah. So Pilots up 5-0 with time winding down here at HLC Field. That sun finally starting to break through here. It almost feels like that wind's gone down a little bit from this morning.
I'm hoping it's gone for the guys' game.
Well, that was such a, like I said earlier this week when Brandon was playing. I mean, that was a huge deal, right? The way that wind was, you really gotta factor it in as much as you can, kind of a thing, and take advantage when you got it working with you. Because when you're against it, it's like rolling a boulder up a mountaintop. It seems. So Van de Westine lets that one fly. It deflects and stays with the Bobcats here. They're going to try to control it. They work it back to midfield for the defensive specialist, Lauren Craig. Trying to keep it in play. The Bobcats will, but now it's into the feet of the Providence Pilots one more time as they race down the field. That's out of play, though. Craig throws it in. Rozier was in hot pursuit of it there. That kick all the way down onto the Brandon side and trying to force a turnover and put a shot on Skramstad. It's back with Skramstad. That kick partially deflects off a Providence player. Out of play it goes, so it's a Bobcat ball. They quickly throw it into play.
Kylie Thompson back.
That deflects and Craig doubles back to hold it for the Bobcats with Alex Dumont right in her grill. It's with Craig one more time, trying to deke around Dumont and Will. Rozier breaks down the side of the field here for the Bobcats at midfield now and past it. Right now it's with Curtis. Curtis keeps it, passes it off.
To McKay. McKay looking.
McKay keeps that one on the ground. It was rolling there. Providence will pick it up and take it back the other way. Just for the moment, though, McKay with another low heat-seeking missile there, trying to keep it out of the air and out of the wind and trying to get something going on offensively here for the Bobcats. Rozier, she got tangled up there. And you know what I was just about to say, we haven't had any kind of whistles like that at all where anybody's got banged up or dinged up at all. And Rozier's tough as a $2 steak. We'll walk that one off.
Craig to take the free kick.
Craig with a Good kick. Trying to find a header there. Went off Rozier. She's still in there. Rozier trying to work her way around and find that edge. Cannot. Out of play it went.
And we're seeing really good plays from Bobcats from when they're passing the ball to each other, keeping it low to the ground. But once there's panic and they start just kicking, Prov is recognizing that and capitalizing.
So there's Curtis. Now Rozier. Dishing it off to Van de Westing. Trying to work her way around Duick, but Duick was glued to her.
Van de Westing drawing a handball though, so this might be her chance to take a free kick and put it in the net for Bobcats.
Yeah, Van de Westing, handful of goals in this exhibition season for the Bobcats here, showing a lot of promise, a lot of potential as being the next big impact player here for the Bobcats on the soccer field. I'm fortunate to be standing beside one of the ones from the past right now in JC Castle, and let's see what Van de Westing can do here.
Really nice ball by Van de Westing. Wait for Kylie Thompson to be there to receive that ball, but Molly Major has been there for Providence time and time again throughout this game. And there she was again.
Yeah, if you had to pick your 3 stars, I think that she would certainly be one of them. A real calming influence, I think, the goalkeeper for the Pilots.
Definitely.
Yeah, just when you kind of think Brandon would have something going, she would race out there to kind of squash any chance at all. So, ball belongs to the Bobcats here. Trying to break that goose egg at least if they can. There was Haley Curtis using her noggin to keep that one in play for the Bobcats. Curtis one more time. Curtis keeps it, dishes it off to Van de Westing. Goes off the shin of Duick and out of play. Bobcats look to keep pouring on the pressure here with time winding down in this exhibition contest at HLC Field. Off the head of McKay. Doubling back to try to keep it in play was Peyton Bardwell. And back the other way we're going to go here, I think, for Providence. Ball will stay with Providence here as we make our way downfield. And thrown in by Lindsay Duick. Trying to find Alex Dumont.
It'll be McKay taking this throw for the Bobcats.
So McKay throws it in and deflects off Dumont.
And Bardwell to take the throw for Bobcats.
Yeah, a couple more cracks at it here for the Bobcats. We got a whistle though. That was a short-lived chance there for BU. Lindsay Duick holds. Puts it off a Brandon player and out of play, and we'll do it all over again. Pilots controlling it to walk in the tightrope, and at the final couple of whistles, goal.
That'll be it.
And that's it. Providence Pilots come all the way from Otterburn, and the bus trip was well worth it for the Pilots. Shutout victory. Molly Major gets a clean sheet. And I thought Jessica Waychuk really had a really strong performance for the Providence Pilots as well.
If she wasn't scoring the goals, she was creating them.
Yeah, well,
very good game for her.
I think it must have been, I get thinking about, well, 2 corner kicks for sure. One that she dialed up from long distance, and then the other one that was a deflection. So when you add it all up, it's a 5-0 victory for the Providence Pilots over the Brandon University Bobcats here in exhibition soccer action from HLC Field, right next to the beautiful Healthy Living Center at Brandon University. So that'll do it for our women's broadcast. Men's contest is coming up at 3:15. So we're still about a half an hour away from opening kick in the men's contest. But for this one, it's the Providence Pilots 5 and the Brandon University Bobcats 0 in this exhibition contest from HLC Field. So we'll step aside and we'll have the call on the men's game coming up in about a half hour's time.